Lately there seems to be some debate about the weight of certain cars and how it affects performance. This is something I've tested before, and in light of recent issues was going to revisit. After a lengthy discussion in the Amber group chat, I've decided sooner would be better. After reading most of this chat, it seems some are confused as to how certain scripts work and how weight will affect them. It seems to be some believe certain builders have an advantage due to their cars being lighter, and they come off the line faster, whereas others are more heavy and take longer to come off the line. And that the solution to this is that making all the cars weigh the same, and that these weights are based on real-life weights for specific classes. I heard lots of references to realism, making it fair, and different scripts compared. One thing needs to be made clear. Yes, certain scripts can be designed to where mass has an effect on acceleration and power. However, the majority of drag scripts, ours at Custom Classics in particular, do not work this way. The mass of the vehicle and/or avatar has no bearing on performance. They are specifically designed not to be this way. So imposing a weight limit to make things fair is not going to solve anything. It is just going to make more work for builders and racers and cause more confusion than what is needed in what already seems to be a confusing event for some. For my tests, I will test one of our cars at varying weights: 3 grams, 40 grams, and 105 grams. The base 3-gram car is tuned to gasser speeds. The rest are the same car with an enlarged root prim to add weight. No gearing changes will be made, just an increase in mass. Then I will test a TNS car in 2 versions, both with a mass of 40 grams, which is how the car comes stock out of the box. One with full accel and tuned to gasser speeds, and another stock using a burnout, also tuned to gasser speeds. This is more like the normal person would use it out of the box. Since 60 feet times were mentioned, I have moved the sensor to 60 feet so it will record the reaction time at that distance. If the theory holds true, the lighter cars should have better 60 feet times than the heavier ones, and the 40-gram version should be equal, and the 105-gram car should be really bad and get blown away by the stock TNS car. I will make 5 runs with each version and average the times and speeds for comparison. Okay, we're going to start our tests here with our little Tudor hot rod. This is a KK car. And I'll go into Control-Alt-T. You can see the root prim. It's the basic standard root prim. No modification yet. And we'll hop in it. Check our weight. There you can see this car comes in at 3.024 Linden grams. So this is light. Something to remember when you're doing this is where you stage is very important. You have to stage in exactly the same spot, or as close to it as you can, or it will skew the results, because if you're too far forward or too far back, it'll change it. And in case there's any doubt to whether the car's tuning have been changed, we'll go ahead and take a look at the cards. This is for the 3-gram car, and you can see our last gear here is 5.75, which is what our gasser gear is going to be for these cars. And this is the 3-gram car. You can see the root prims, the normal. I guess I'll hop in it and we'll make sure. Yeah, there we go. 3 grams. Now we'll try out our 40-gram car. As you can see, our root prim is a little bit larger. That's how we up the weight. We made the root prim a little bit thicker. And we'll check the card in this one. And as you can see, we're still at 5.75. So same tune for this car. We'll jump in it. Check the weight. There we go, 39.9. So basically 40 grams. Okay, and here we have our 105-gram car. You can see the root prim is freaking humongous. And we'll open up the note card and take a look at it. You can see we're still at 57.5. So no changes in the note card. Still has the same tune. And we'll get in it. Check our weight, and there we go, 105.6. So heavy. we are in the stock 67 TNS Pro Mod Camaro. We'll zoom in and get the weight. It's 40 grams, like we thought. This is the stock version tuned for gasser to where you had to do a burnout and everything to get the right acceleration. I've done no modifications to the acceleration. All I did was tune it so I could hit gasser speeds. And we'll run it and see what happens. If I remember to do the burnout. If I could have that about a minute longer, it would be just awesome. Yeah, that's sweet. Well, that's ultra keen. Okay, here we are again, and this is the TNS 1967 Pro Mod Camaro. Except for now I have it set for full excel. And we'll zoom in here and check the mass of it. So we can see there it's still 40.28, so 40 grams. Same as the other one. Just this one isn't the default settings to where you have to do a burnout and everything. It's the Excel's maxed out. We can just pull up here and run, and you'll see this one works quite a bit better. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. See, the acceleration's much better. There's simply nothing wrong with that. Okay, here we are with the TNS Pro Mod Camaro again, but this time I set the mass to 105 grams to match the heaviest car I tested from KK. I wasn't going to do this test, but somebody asked me to, because I'm honestly not that concerned with how adding weight affects a TNS car, because their concern seems to be losing weight, not adding weight. But you know, what the heck, we can check it and see if it really makes a difference. So we'll hop in it and see what happens. Here we can see it's 105.5 grams. It's pretty heavy. And we'll run it and see what happens. Again, this isn't max Excel. And it didn't seem to have any effect. 0.2 60-foot time, 3.1 ET, 144 mile an hour. That looks pretty good to me. Okay, so after all this modifying the cars and testing and everything, what were our results and conclusions? Well, let's take a look at the data. Here's the note card I made based on the runs that I made with each car. We started out with our Custom Classics Tudor at 3 grams, which according to the note card that TNS put out would be 300 pounds. Way underweight. We're shooting for about 2,000 pounds, which is 20 grams. I ended up with 60-foot times of 0.42, an ET of 3.12, and a mile per hour of 144. I then took the same car. I upped its mass by changing the root prim to 40 grams, which would be a 4,000 pound car, which is twice as heavy as what the minimum would be according to the note card. And our averages were our 60-foot time is 0.41, our ET was 3.12, our mile per hour was 143. So as we can see, no significant change. If anything, it went a little bit faster, but I don't think that had anything to do with changing the weight of the vehicle. It probably had to do with the sim conditions. Then we went to our next test, where I took the same KK Tudor hot rod and I increased the mass to 105 grams. This is a 10,000 pound car. This is way over the weight of what we're shooting for in a note card. My averages were my 60-foot time is 0.42. My ET was 3.12. My mile per hour was 144. As you can see, if we go back up here and look at the 3-gram car, they're exactly the same. So going from 3 grams to 105 grams made absolutely no difference on the performance of this vehicle. Now while I was at it, I tested a TNS car. I tested their Pro Mod Camaro, and I tested it set to gasser. My first test was stock. The car's 40 grams out of the box, and with this car all I did was do a burnout and tune it so the times would match, so the ET matched our index and the speeds. And with this car we ended up with a 60-foot time of 0.71, an ET of 3.14, a mile per hour of 143. Not stellar. I can see where people have an issue. The 60-foot time is quite a bit slower. It did not come out of the hole very well, even after doing the burnout. But if you look, the ET and the mile per hour are there. It come out of the hole not very well, but by the end of the track, it still did 3.1 seconds. And I probably could have got it better. If I spent more time tuning it, I probably could have got this car down to 3.1, 3.12 like the other ones. Now I took the same car and I changed the accel rate, which is an option with her cars. They're tunable just like ours. You can change it to a max acceleration and then detune your gears in order for it to fit your class. Now if we look at it with this car, our average 60-foot time was 0.28, our ET was 3.13, and our mile per hour was 144. Now our ET and mile per hour were just like the other cars, just fine, fits in the class, it did great, it's compatible. Our 60-foot time is 0.28. This car with max accel actually came out of the hole faster than what a KK car did at 3 grams. So the issue with feeling like these cars don't do as well as our cars, or our cars have an advantage or something like that, from what I can see here, that isn't the case. If you tune this car right, it's actually as good or better. Now I did the same car at 105 grams, but I didn't write down the specs. It's in the video, though, if you want to look at it. It was the same. It was right around 0.3, 0.2 for the 60-foot times. ET at 3.1 something mile per hour, 144. So it made no difference at all. So the conclusion I get from this is what I had originally expected and what I found in previous testing months ago when I've tried this before. It has no difference. It simply has no effect on the performance of the car. You can change the weight to whatever you want. That car's still going to basically perform the same way. So my opinion is this isn't going to make a bit of difference. The video's up. People can watch it. They can make their own decision. If you think I cheated, if you think I fudged the results, I didn't. I can't prove that I didn't. But what's my motive for doing it? If I was going to do it, why would I have made a TNS car faster than our car? I just made this video to show what would happen. And here are the results. Take them for what they are. And have a good day.